Good morning, everyone. Right, bit of an interesting one, this one. A friend of mine, Craig, known him for a decade. He's a truck driver. A couple of years back, he was holding on to a 3 or 4 ton piece of metal, and it rolled off the truck. He was attached to it at the time, and it rolled him around, and it fucked his back. He's been on ACC for a long time, and he uses Westwave facilities in Henderson for rehabilitation, the walking pool, the spa, the sauna, all those sorts of things, which really helps his rehabilitation. Now, due to all the lockdown bullshit that's happened over the last year and whatnot, his rehabilitation has been set back because of the lockdowns. He can't get to the pool, he can't do regular workouts, but he pays $25 a week for a membership at Westwave. He uses the facilities, like I say, to rehabilitate. The only problem being is that if he's paying $25 a week to use these facilities, and if Auckland Council and Westwave want to publicly post up on their websites that these services are available, would you, me, anybody expect for, I don't know, say, those services to be available? Because for the last 3 odd months prior to February, Craig had no ends of issues with either the breakdowns, the sauna not working, the spa pool being too highly chlorinated, black mold everywhere, all sorts of complaints, all things which are hindering his rehabilitation. Well, I'm sure everybody would love him to be off ACC and get back to work, but he's being hindered. Now, so what he did is he asked me to contact Westwave. Westwave and me, well, we go way back to 2014 when they tried to stop me from recording in a public pool my own boys enjoying the hydroslide. They soon learnt that one. But looks like I'm back 7 years later. Now, what I did first off is I contacted the council. Craig had contacted the council several times and was getting no answers whatsoever, and he asked me, is there any law against it, because they're advertising for all of these services to be, available, and they're never working. Constant breakdowns, run like a complete fucking dog's ass, to be quite honest. So what I did is I contacted them on the 31st of January or 30th of January. I wrote a letter, and then on the 4th of February I sent it through to what's his name? Where are you? What's your name? Just a minute. Sent it through to Leith Hurst, who is one of the customer services representatives at the council. And I just sent him an email, please see the attached document, which includes an Official Information Act request. So this document was twofold. One, it was mentioning all of the breakdowns and complaints, and the second part of this document is that I'm asking for all of the breakdown and repair records for the last year that Westwave have gone through, because right now what they're doing is they are committing fraud. Section 240 and 242 of the Crimes Act 1961 clearly says you cannot misrepresent or mislead and gain money, which is exactly what they're doing. They're advertising all of these services to be available. Hardly any of them are half the time, but they're still taking the money. Now, by Craig's calculation, for 3 months there's been constant breakdowns. So he was asking, he's not even asking for a refund of his $25 a week. He just says, seeing you had so many breakdowns, I'd like a credit, because as it is, I feel wronged. I've not been given the services that I'm paying for. That's misrepresentation and fraud. And Craig's got no issue with taking this down the legal avenue if they don't want to sort this out and redress the issue. So this is the letter I wrote to them on the 30th of January. It says, to whom it may concern, I am writing this correspondence on behalf of my friend Craig, who is a member of your facility, to allow Westwave to correct, redress and make right the issues and legal and illegal activity currently being committed by Westwave Pool and Leisure Centre. Craig has a back injury and frequents your facility for rehabilitation currently under ACC. For approximately the last 3 months, each time Craig has attended to help rehabilitate, he has struck the following problems. 1. The spa pool either not working or over-chlorinated. 2. The sauna has been faulty and not working. 3. The pool has been unable to be used for his water walking. 4. Poor responses and unprofessional behaviour from staff when inquiring about the issues. And 5. No redress for the issues mentioned by him during his numerous calls to address these issues and being bounced around from one customer services representative to another. Craig pays $25 a week for his membership under the impression that all services and facilities are operational to assist him in his rehabilitation. As is widely advertised on your website, these services are available and required by him to rehabilitate and heal. Under the Crimes Act 1961 Section 240, it is an offence to misrepresent or gain monies by deception. In this case, cause a loss by Craig, given he cannot use what he is paying for. See subsection 1D, and I supply them the Crimes Act, Section 240. Initially, cause loss to any other person. Everyone is guilty of obtaining by deception or causing loss by deception, who, by any deception and without claim of right, obtains ownership or possession or control of any property, privileges, pecuniary advantage, benefit or valuable consideration directly or indirectly, or incurring any debt, liability, obtains credit, or induces or causes any other person to deliver over, execute, make, accept, endorse, destroy, or alter any document or thing capable of being used to derive a pecuniary advantage, or cause loss to any person, which is what they're doing. Craig's paying this money, he's suffering a loss, he's not able to use the facilities. It's flat out fraud. Section 1A, every person is liable to imprisonment for a term not exceeding 3 years. Without reasonable excuse, sells, transfers, or otherwise makes available any document or thing capable of being used to derive pecuniary advantage, knowing that, by deception and without claim of right, the document or thing was, or caused to be, delivered, executed, made, accepted, endorsed, or altered. Section 2, in this section, deception means a false representation, whether oral, documentary, or by conduct, where persons making the representation intend to deceive any other person or know that it is false in a material particular. Okay, so saying that your spa pool's working and yet it's not. And no, when you walk into the facility, having a board up saying what things are operational and what things aren't, that's not acceptable, because it's real simple. If you've got all of these things that you're advertising, all of those things should be working. It shouldn't be I'll walk in today and take my potluck as if something's going to be working today or not. You're providing a service, you're charging a fee. Supply the service. Furthermore, under Section 242 of the Crimes Act, it is an offence to make false statements and deceive persons, causing them loss, and by advertising these services when they have clearly not been able to be used, is fraudulent and deceptive misrepresentation. As Westwave are still gaining money through his membership fees, while he cannot access these facilities advertised and published by Westwave. See subsection 1B. Subsection 1B is everyone is liable to imprisonment for a term not exceeding 10 years in respect of any body, whether incorporated or unincorporated, whether formed or intended to be formed, makes or concurs in making or publishes any false statement with the intent, A, to induce any person, whether ascertained or not, to acquire any financial product within the meanings of the Financial Market Conduct Act 2013, or B, to deceive or cause loss to any person, whether ascertained or not, or to induce any person, whether ascertained or not, to entrust or advance any property to another person. Well, he's paying a fee. He's paying in advance for these things. We can't use them, so he's suffering a loss. In this section, false statement means any statement in respect of which person making or publishing the statement knows the statement is false in a material particular, or is reckless as to whether the statement is false or materially particular. Craig requires Westwave to cease and desist any advertisement or publishing promoting these services until they are fully functional to prevent any further loss of deception to the general public. As this is deceptive behaviour, Craig also requires that Westwave credit his membership for the last 3 months where these services have not been in operation, and thus he is not able to use what he has paid for, through no fault of his own. Craig lastly requires an apology from Westwave for the alarm, distress and frustration these issues and matter have caused himself, not to mention the loss of fuel he has used travelling to your facility under the impression that he could use these services. Under the Official Information Act 1982, please supply the following: any and all maintenance records showing which services such as spa, sauna, pool, etc. were under repair, inoperational or faulty since January the 1st, 2020, up until present day. The reasoning why Westwave has not informed the general public of these operational services, allowing the public to be aware that Westwave are unable to provide these services while they are under repair or servicing. Please make right the losses which Westwave has caused to Craig to endure through no fault of his own. Should this not happen, private legal action will be sought to hold Westwave accountable for its fraudulent behaviour and actions to date. Note, the media has been informed and they will be attending to gain stock footage for further publications under the New Zealand Bill of Rights Act Section 14, which means they can go there and gain information and opinions. Notice: failure to respond within 10 days shall constitute a tacit agreement that Westwave Pool and Leisure Centre have been informed of their fraudulent actions and misrepresentations and have chosen to not redress these issues and accept that they are acting unlawfully and will be therefore liable for prosecution. Craig can be contacted directly on his cell phone. His residential address is this. Craig does not have email or uses it, hence why he has asked myself to assist. Thank you for your assistance and compliance in this matter. Warmest regards, me on behalf of him. Alright, so that was from Craig. On the 4th of February, after sending that, I get a correspondence from Leith. On the 4th of February, 10:15 in the morning. Good morning, Mark. Thanks for sending this through. I forwarded it to our official complaints department, who manage any legoimas or official complaints. Legoimas are official information through the local government. They should be in contact at some stage, and I'll work with them to provide the information you've requested. I've spoken with Craig. I'm unsure if he mentioned this to you, as it was only Tuesday night. It was a good conversation, and I felt that I explained our story around outages and the coming works to develop Westwave was well received. This won't have removed his frustration, but sometimes knowing the details can help us come to terms with it. Come to terms with what? The fact that you guys still aren't going to have all of the services available, so why are people paying for membership for the services you can't provide? It's pretty simple. He left the call a little optimistic about the works we have going on this year. Well, how the fuck does Leith know how Craig was feeling when he left the call? I do, because Craig explained it to me. And he wasn't optimistic. He was somewhat deterred at the fact that they're going on about getting everything up and fixed again, only to find out that they're going to be shutting it down later on in the year to do more upgrades. So again, shafting those people that are members so they don't have access to the services they're paying for. Which is great, because we share in that optimism. He was particularly interested in our complete rebuild of the steam sauna happening this year around May. Well, it's April now. You know? Just last week, Craig sent me these pictures. Okay, these are pictures of black mold in the changing room area. Okay, it takes a while for black mold to build up like that. Not only that, but as he was taking photos, the cleaning lady finally came along to try and fix it up. This was 3 days after he reported the black mold. That's why he was taking photos of the 3 days later after he makes a complaint. It's still there. So even simple cleaning things, that's a health and safety issue, people. the public shouldn't be wandering around black fucking mould in a building facility where it's supposed to meet certain standards. And they're paying for it. Good on you. Anyway, Leith Hurst, Operations Manager, contact number, mobile number, it's all there for you guys, in case you have anything, not that I'm encouraging anybody to call them or put their opinions through. He also forwarded this through to Adam Lee Williams at Auckland Council as well. So we don't know who Adam Lee Williams is. I respond to Leith, quarter of an hour later, with, "Hi Leith, thank you for your reply. This does not change the fact that he has not been able to use what he is paying for the last few months, and therefore is not getting what you advertised is available. Is there anything published advising people of the works you speak of, informing people that these services are not operational? Are people being credited for the loss of these services which are constantly breaking down and the like? Are they?" And I would have thought it would be better, and I mentioned this in phone calls that are coming up, because it doesn't end on this fucking video. I even mentioned this later on, that wouldn't it be better for them to just give Craig 3 months credit, $300, $25 a week, 3 months credit on his account? Wouldn't it be better to just reconcile that issue than have it all be made public, and then all of a sudden there's thousands of customers, possibly? There might not be thousands of members, there might be less. But all of the members starting to hit them up for this? I would have thought it would be better, but, you know, that's just me. Where are we? To accept money for services that are not usable is fraud, and not just Craig, but all persons should be credited for such. In Craig's case, 3 months credit should be added to his membership to make right the loss he has endured. Craig can be very amicable, however, does not like being given the runaround. He mentioned he has spoken to you in the rare instance that he had been given further information about the works in May upcoming. This still does not address the losses to date Craig and others have suffered. I will be there in the next few weeks to gather information and footage for future publications. I appreciate you getting back to me and will await the acknowledgement of the OIA from you. Because, see, the rules with Official Information Acts, even if they're legoimas, doesn't matter. The rules around that is that once an OIA is received, that business or government organisation is then supposed to send you an acknowledgement of that Official Information Act. If it takes over 20 working days or 28 days for them to respond back, they're supposed to email you and ask, or at least tell you, that they need more time to collect the information. That's how that works. Just for those people that might be watching this and need to be educated. Enjoy your day, and thanks again for responding me. Then I heard nothing for 3 weeks. On February the 21st, 17 days later, I send Heath another one. "Hi Leith, just a reminder that under the Official Information Act you have 20 working days to supply the information requested. Usually I get a response of acknowledgement of such request. However, I have received no such request. In accordance with the OIA, please ensure the information required is supplied within the time frame specified." 17 days in of 28 days, because I'm counting weekends. Then, okay, nothing. April 1st comes by. I've gotten no OIA answers, no request for further time, no acknowledgement, nothing. Zip, nada. So on the 1st of April, I send Leith a chase-up. Just a quick chase-up as to why I have not received acknowledgement of the OIA requested sent to you on the 4th of February this year. As the time frame has now lapsed, you're in breach of the Official Information Act. On the 21st of February, I received a "We're looking into your complaint" letter with a case number as reference, and I am referred to as Craig. Clearly the correspondence is not being correctly read. Now, as it is April, the Official Information Act has lapsed, and Craig also has further issues with your inability to supply what is advertised due to constant breakdowns. Currently, Craig has for the last 3 days been awaiting to use the hydrotherapy pool for rehabilitation. However, it has been out of service awaiting cleaning. Could this be due to young children in nappies being able to swim and soil the pool over the weekends? I will be calling the 0800 number today to inquire as to the status of the complaints made in regards to the false and misleading information by Auckland Council, such as services being stated and not being supplied. Will Westwave be supplying Craig compensation for the losses he has endured due to Westwave not having services available, although advertised and paid for? I will be visiting Westwave to gather stock footage for the upcoming release to the public relating to the poor and unacceptable response to date from yourself and Westwave. When will I be supplied the information required within the OIA request dated the 30th of January 2021, which was sent to you on the 4th of February 2021? I would appreciate your response urgently, as Craig is considering further legal action should his concerns not be addressed. With respect, me, on behalf of him. Okay, now I'm going to show you the 2 calls. First call I made just about 12:15 that same day. I rung up on the 1st of April and the lady started babbling something on to me. I stopped her and says, "Look lady, why don't I actually tell you why I'm calling?" Because I had no idea or cared about what she was going to go on about. And it was basically I was doing a chase up for the OIA request. Got halfway through explaining that and got hung up on. 10 minutes later, Auckland Council's number, 3010102. The council number is 01, but this was from an 02 number, so it's definitely Auckland Council. They rang me back, gave me dead air for about a minute, then hung up on me again.
Kia ora and welcome to Auckland Council. Auckland Council, you're speaking with them, right?
Hi, how are you? Yep. Shall I give you a case number, a CAS number?
Yes, please.
It's 306568 dash.
The line went blank. What was after number 3?
306568 dash C1L4W1.
And did you just W1 the last 2 numbers?
Yeah, W1. So C1L4W1.
Sorry, just taking a little longer to load.
That's all right.
Is it the number?
Yep, that's correct address.
Okay, the status is still showing active and assigned to the team.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to check if there's any notes, activities on the job.
Okay, well the reason I'm actually calling is because on the 4th of February I sent through an Official Information Act request. On the 21st I got the email with this case number saying that you're working on my complaints. The initial email I sent dated on the 30th of January, which you guys got on the 4th of February, it had complaints and it also had an Official Information Act request in it. Now you're well in breach now of the 28-day time limit for an Official Information Act request. and I'd like to know what's happening. Is some reason as to why it's taking so long? You know, I just want to know why my OIA is not getting an answer. Because basically what's happened is Westwave has been advertising all of these services available, and for the last 3 months the services haven't been available. It's false and misleading advertising, and it's also fraud under Section 240 of the Crimes Act 1961. So I'd like to know why I'm not getting a response and what's happening with the Official Information Act request. Primarily. Are you there? Hello? Just for your records, I'm also recording this call and it will be published, so I suggest that some response happens very shortly. Hello? 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 Auckland Council, if you're going to ring me, at least speak. And when I call you, do not hang up on me. My calls are recorded and they will be published. I suggest you speak. Okay? I'll stay on the phone until